Welcome back to the Pleb Underground. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, guys. Guess we had a little bit of relief yesterday, and of course, when you see relief like this, you know that the cheerleaders are going to come out in full force. They're going to let us know, all right, everything's going to be fine. It's clear skies ahead. The big evil final boss, Jane Street, was taken out, and those 10 a.m. dumps are just going to stop. That was yesterday. Today's a new day. Today's a very, very much new day. Anyways, but the real question is, where do we go from here? Is it really clear skies ahead? Guess what? I'm not a hopium salesman, so I have no idea, but we're going to take a look at some people who think they do know where it's going. Anyways, yesterday, 250 million in shorts liquidated in 24 hours. Sweet. That 10 a.m. manipulation has stopped. Well, we're going to take a look at that, right? As we were just talking about. We've got a new TD Cowen Bitcoin price prediction, but we also have some other people that are using their models, and they're telling us that even though yesterday was a nice little relief, we've still got some healing to do. Glassnode is also kind of pointing to that as well. We've also got some Bitcoin treasury companies doing Bitcoin treasury company things. We're going to take a look at that. That unrealized gain law. What happened there? What happened there? And yesterday was MT.GOX's 12-year anniversary. We are going to take a look back at that. Guys, if you like not being lied to about Bitcoin, if you like that I didn't shill the SBR or the treasury companies and I was being objective about what it is that could happen, if you appreciate those things, consider subscribing. Anyways, let's dive into all the fun stuff. Here we go, guys. Pleb Underground is sponsored by Archimedes Emporium. Discover the pinnacle of precision engineering, starting with their Bitcoin logo wall clock, meticulously machined in Maine from a solid block of aerospace-grade aluminum, ensuring unparalleled durability and performance. Experience the difference of a product made without compromise. Head on over to Archimedes Emporium. All right, let's take a look at the block height over here, because that is the only number that keeps going up right now. 938,455. The price to be sending transactions over here. We got 1 sat per V-byte. Nobody's using the Bitcoin network. Are we really afraid that the blocks are going to get full? Is that really what's happening? I don't think so. Anyways, the total public lightning capacity, 5,238. And the Bitcoin fiat exchange, 66,927. That's right. That is right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Silent Lamb, Matthew, Free RS Guides, JM Tibbets, and Rourke. What's up, guys? And yes, Matt, that is correct. I'm always coping. I mean, especially during bear markets. Yeah, that's where I'm at. And again, this is one of the reasons that I create content. This is part of my cope. it's just part of the cope. Yeah, definitely coping. Yeah, exactly, Rourke. The bear market is your friend. Your future self will thank you for buying here and lower. That's right, guys. If you've got regular income and you are not just doing this, essentially betting on all of the ups and downs to grind out mortgage payments and just your regular everyday livelihood, the best thing you can do is simply stay solvent and continue to stack. And don't fall for the whole, we're getting $1 million tomorrow nonsense, okay? Because the reality is that we didn't get $1 million tomorrow, okay? We didn't get that at all. And I just want to point out this post that I made this morning, right? We're going to take a tally. The biggest Bitcoin influencer accounts, which many promoted and defended, right? Guys like Adam B. Live and all this crap. These guys are just grinding out paychecks, right? These guys are grinding out paychecks, billing you absolute nonsense. And people sat there and they fell all over themselves for it. It was so sad. So here we go. Yeah, the Omega grifts. Like, look at this. Bitcoin treasuries, totally wrong. Did not save Bitcoin. Didn't stop a bear market. Actually, you could even say that it accelerated and made it worse. The strategic Bitcoin reserve. Not that I wanted that anyways. But That didn't even come close. What the hell does David Sachs do anyways? Nobody even knows. Dude just grinds out a paycheck. Omega candles. That's been getting shilled to us for almost 10 years. It's literally the freaking skeleton at the bottom of the ocean, right? I'm waiting for the Omega candles. Okay? The $1 million Bitcoin. You can get no $1 million Bitcoin. Not even close. Guys like American HODL, $1 million Bitcoin, $250,000 Bitcoin. 6 years ago, he was telling people to mortgage their house at the top. And you got to stop listening to these ridiculous people. They're clowns. And of course, the 4-year cycle. But most of all, guys, the ETFs, right? And we're going to see why. We're going to see why. I think more people should follow you. I don't disagree with that. I don't think people should follow me necessarily because I'm definitely not placating egos. I've managed to piss off a lot of people. So some people even get so upset with my posts that they come back and essentially project what they think I'm doing, right? Where they're like, you're just self-deprecating. Well, I don't like to bullshit myself. I didn't grow up in a world where I got to lie to myself and everything was fine. So sorry, you know. Anyways, all right, let's get down to the news. I will shut up and continue. So yesterday, happy day. Everybody is happy, right? $254 million in Bitcoin shorts liquidated in 24 hours. I'm going to tell you, even though that's decent, that's like a drop in the bucket, but it sounds good and it makes us feel good. So why not? Right? Why not? Yep. I'm also, man, but see, I'm a hopium addict, but I'm usually just coping. That's really what's happening. Do they really keep me in? You guys really keep me in business though? You know, that's, I'm not taking a check from the big companies to keep the lights on. So yeah, that's, we'll leave that to the guys in the suits, right? We'll leave that to the guys in the suits. They're good at that. Okay. The Jane Street stuff. Everybody wants to talk about the Jane Street stuff. We started to cover it yesterday, right? And I was telling you guys, it's not right that there's two sides of the same coin: motivation, manipulation. It's the same side. So the people that believe that somehow Jane Street is this big final boss, this evil boss that is destroying the market, and thanks to them being caught, now we're going to rise. Well, guess what? We're sitting at 67K. Okay, so we didn't get some Omega candle or any of that crap, okay, after this news came out. Anyways, so since Jane Street was sued yesterday, the 10 a.m. manipulation has stopped. Actually, no, it didn't. We still dropped again this morning at around 10 a.m. So it's got nothing to do with this. Anyways, Bitcoin is up 10%, adding 120 billion to its market cap, and the BTC weekly candle has turned green after 5 consecutive red candles. The total crypto market has added nearly 200 billion over the same period. Listen, I obviously want to be excited about this stuff. I do want to believe that this stuff is real. Guys, we have so much overhead resistance at this point, okay? There was so much selling that took place this particular cycle because of that psychological 100K mark. Just this is all just short-term noise, okay? And there you go, right? You've got the little chart. Boom, this is when they got sued, you know, and here we go. Boom, price goes up. Okay, great. Yeah, people are exuberant, but that didn't actually change any of the market dynamics. It did not. And I'll show you why. I'll show you why it didn't change any of the market dynamics, because that's the most important thing. While people are focusing on Jane Street being the big bad villain, it's not just Jane Street, guys. And they are not a villain. Just, they have a business. They are executing on their business. They are actually following rules, actually following regulations. They're not doing anything illegal. So now, granted, it may be unethical, it may be immoral, but it's not illegal. So this interesting post from Jeff Park that nobody wanted to read because for whatever reason, he used this ridiculously tiny font. Everyone is asking, is Jane Street why Bitcoin isn't at 150K? It's not just them. As expected, the answer is trickier than the question, but it's also more structurally unsettling than the conspiracy theory itself. Ooh, do go on. Do go on. I know this looks like a lot, guys, but it isn't. Anyways, here we go. The billion-dollar question everyone is asking today: does Jane Street suppress Bitcoin price? Yes, they do. That's the TLDR. Okay. The question deserves, if you want to, now I'll just give you the details behind it. The question deserves a precise answer. And the most important thing to understand upfront is that It is not really a question about Jane Street. It is a question about a structural feature of the Bitcoin ETF architecture that applies equally to every authorized participant. You remember how excited I was about authorized participants possibly taking in-kind redemptions? Well, guess what? I got blinded by my own hopium, right? Not realizing the other side of that coin. Because in my eyes, it's, hey, you want to take self-custody of your Bitcoin because Bitcoin is the asset. That's not the way they see it, right? And this helped remind me that. Anyways, for IBIT alone, that list includes Jane Street, right? These are the authorized participants for IBIT. Jane Street, JP Morgan, Macquarie, Virtue Americas, Goldman Sachs, Citadel Security, Citigroup, UBS, ABN, AMRO. The role of these institutions is genuinely misunderstood even amongst seasoned industry veterans, and that misunderstanding is worth correcting before drawing any conclusions. Okay, so the first thing to understand about APs is they occupy a corner case of the regulatory architecture of Reg SHO. I've never heard of what Reg SHO is, so I'm not trying to sit here and be a teacher to you guys. Regulation SHO is an SEC rule implemented in 2005 to regulate short selling, reducing naked shorting and persistent failures to deliver the shares, which means these businesses have to locate shares before they can short them, okay? APs are exempt by virtue of their contractual right to participate in creation and redemption. So what that means, because they can create and redeem shares, they do not have to go and locate shares before selling them. That's right. So if you understand correctly, authorized participants under the right conditions can be naked short sellers. Okay? Yeah. This is pretty bad. While this sounds procedural, the practical consequence is significant. Any AP can manufacture shares at will. That whole bullshit that we saw like from last year where they're not going to be able to make one share without buying Bitcoin. Nonsense. Nonsense. No borrow cost, no capital, conventionally tied up against the short, and no hard deadline to close the position beyond what is commercially reasonable. The short answer is that no AP, authorized participant, explicitly suppresses Bitcoin price. No, they don't suppress it. What the AP structure can suppress is the integrity of the price discovery mechanism itself. Now, I am fluent in bullshit business speak. I was a person who would train other people in bullshit business speak and how to bullshit customers, okay? And that line right there is one of the biggest loads of crap that you are going to read about this. The price discovery mechanism, you mean price suppression, okay? So yeah, all the crappy things we thought these businesses were doing, they are doing. We shouldn't be surprised. So all of those fucking cheerleaders, right, that sat there and told you about how great the ETFs are for Bitcoin, they're saving Bitcoin, right? They threw on a suit, they smiled in your face, and they lied. That's what they did, plain and simple. But they ground out a paycheck. So morals go out the window. It's okay, right? I did what I had to do for my family. Fuck you. But I got paid. Okay? Yeah. And nobody likes to hear the truth, but that's what that shit is. And I've dealt with way too many scumbags and scammers to give a shit what these people think. Anyways, hey, what's happening, guys? Hello, Plastic. Hello, Mr. Dinkles. Hello, Salty Crayon. Sorry if I missed anybody. Yes, Christine Lagarde. I know you're not liking this episode right now. It's probably a little too spicy for you, huh, Christine? Okay. Anyways, it's okay, guys. I've got Hopium back. We're back. We're done. I'm done complaining. Now we're back to the Hopium. Here we go. Gert Van Lagen has rebounded from the lower trend line of the channel on the weekly close. Yay! From here, my primary scenario remains a move toward the upper boundary of the channel. Here we go, guys. We're going to complete wave 5. Get ready for 400K Bitcoin. I mean, look, it looks good, right? I like the, I appreciate the optimism here. Just a straight shot to 400K. I hope he's right, but I don't think he will be. We'll see. Oh, you are enjoying this. Okay. Huh, I appreciate it. Anyways, 400K. I'm not holding my breath, guys. I'm definitely not holding my breath. And this particular little fake rally that we're having here, that we're cheering about at like 67K. Look, obviously, I'm happier with it being at 67K than at 60. You know, but I'm not holding my breath that this is going to hang on. We have, like I said before, we have resistance overhead. There's probably going to be a sell wall at like 75 or 74. If we manage to break it, maybe we go to 90, maybe we go to 85, but we've got a ways to go. Anyways, let's keep going here. We've got more price predictions. That's right, because yesterday the Jane Street thing happened. So boom, tide raises all boats, right? Investment banking giant TD Cowen predicts Bitcoin to hit 225K in 2027. I got to tell you, I'm more of a fan of this 400K. I mean, I'll take the 220. I'll take the 225 in 2027. But this guy's thing looks like it goes way faster, and that we possibly get the 400K before. So his hopium is definitely more solid for me. Okay, here we go. Cena, my favorite model, dude. Interesting bounce from 62K near the bottom of the purple zone. That is an 8% recovery. Momentum remains very low and negative. And see, this is what I appreciate about Cena. Even though he does the technicals, he's got the rainbow chart. He's not trying to wreck himself. He's trying to look at the data as accurately as possible. That's obviously my personal opinion, right? And he's saying here, we've got lots of healing to do before the full trend change. And I can't disagree. However, I am super happy that we're doing it. Like, I am ecstatic that we are doing this now and not later. I genuinely have hope that this quote unquote bear market is going to be somewhat muted, the same way that we ended up with more or less a muted bull run. Okay, more bringing us back down to reality here. Glassnode. BTC is range bound between key valuation anchors with 60 to 69K absorbing sell pressure. That's a good thing, guys. That's a really good thing. Profitability and breadth are fading. Spot and ETF flows stay negative, and leverage has reset. I think this is a little bit. I mean, I don't even know what the opposite of hyperbolic is, but just, I guess, pessimistic, right, to the downside. Even though he's saying that ETF flows stay negative, and I obviously don't really care about the ETFs, especially after we are seeing what we saw with the authorized participants. However, the actual people holding the shares of ETFs, they're a little bit more resilient. And if you take a look at the bigger picture, more institutions are getting all of these products ready. So yeah, there's a lull right now, but I don't think it's so grim. And here you go. They're going to show us charts to remind us. Here you go. The realized profit loss. Oof. A lot of people are pretty much in the red at this point, unless you were stacking like 2 cycles ago. Yeah, priced out, drawdown from all-time highs. Okay, this also makes the argument that we are definitely in the crux of the bear market. Oh, what are you saying over here, Christine? I will not allow a muted bear market. Dumping. Yeah. Okay. Well, look, maybe if you sell, we can pump. We do need a sacrifice. There has been one a metaphorical sacrifice, of course, because this is YouTube and YouTube is offended. But yeah, we need a metaphorical sacrifice. So maybe if you sell your corn, we pump. I don't want you to sell it, but I also want to pump. So, I don't know what to tell you. Moral hypocrisy. What do you want? What do you want from me? All right. Bitcoin records strongest divergence from stocks since FTX. Guys, this is not where we want it to go. Okay? This is not at all where we want it to go. Yeah, that's right. Okay? That's us right now. That's what's happening here. Like, what the hell? This was not the decoupling we asked for. You wanted decoupling? Hold my beer. Yeah, exactly. So Bitcoin down 43% in the past 6 months. I'm sorry, guys. We are, for the moment, kicked in the nuts, and we just got to deal with it. Just got to deal with it. And that's okay. That's okay. Because, guys, guess what? The Bitcoin treasury companies, they're going to come save us. How are they going to come save us? They're going to buy Bitcoin, apparently. All right. So Prevalon Energy and Anchorage Digital announce its Strategy World. That's right. In case you guys didn't know, he has his own little conference with the cheerleaders, the circle jerkers, that they have allocated part of their corporate treasury to STRC. So Prevalon Energy and Anchorage Digital, instead of buying and hodling actual Bitcoin, they just want to have the golden handcuffs and generate that sweet 11.25% yield. I don't know. I don't know what I think about that, guys. I'm not surprised, right? I'm not surprised. To a certain extent, it's a giant nothing burger. They're just buying derivatives. I get it. Everybody thinks MSTR is wonderful. I just look at the ETFs, guys. Look at the ETFs. You think there's no shenanigans going on behind the scenes at MSTR with a guy who lost almost $6 billion in one day during the dot-com crisis? Like, because of, I think it was like, what was it? Was his accounting shenanigans? I got to go back and take a look. But either way, and I'm not trying to FUD MSTR. I'm just saying it's shenanigans all around. Okay? Shenanigans all around. We're paying attention to this. Guys, it's kind of weak. Prevalon, you should have bought Bitcoin. Anchorage Digital, you definitely know better. So, whatever. Enjoy the golden handcuffs, guys. So the unrealized cap gains. What did I say? And normally I don't sit there and tout my own horn and be like, yeah, I was right. You should listen to me. No, I don't think you should listen to me. However, in this particular case, I was correct. So the Dutch Minister of Finance has just announced that the 36% tax on unrealized gains has been canceled. That is not true, okay? And that because what they're going to do is what I was talking about. And that they will go back to the drawing board after strong public backlash. Not canceled. House passed the 36% Box 3 tax on unrealized gains effective 2028. Senate still needs to approve it. Finance Minister Jelko Heinen announced he is looking to revise the law after backlash and is going back to the drawing board. They are not canceling it. This is exactly what I said. And it has nothing to do with what I said. This is just the way that regulations and lawfare work. Okay? He puts out an extreme request. We're going to tax you on your unrealized gains, 36%. Oh my gosh, there's a huge uproar. We have to fight back. Boom. Now you're engaging. Well, now we need some type of an administrative body. Now all of a sudden, you're paying people to do this job in order to engage. And now, before you didn't have an unrealized capital gains tax at all, now all of a sudden you're discussing a not so bad unrealized capital gains. You see how the Overton window, see what happened there? Now you're poor and a slave. See what, yeah, that's what they do. Every fucking time. And every single time, everybody gets psyoped into it over and over again. Believe it or not engaging, it might actually be the best answer. And then you'd say to yourself, well, Phil, but then they're going to enact the law anyways. But don't you understand? In the other case, they're getting your consent with your engagement. This is what I've been saying. It's pure Operation Mindfuck. It really, really is. It's just too bad. Anyways, guys, so MT.GOX. I was not around for MT.GOX. I showed up to Bitcoin slightly after. I do remember when it happened, but again, I wasn't paying attention. So yeah, let's go down the memory hole here for a second.
It's a virtual currency which only exists on the internet. Bitcoin, as it's called, bypasses the traditional banking system and has become increasingly attractive as it doesn't involve exchanging currencies. But it's seen a sharp fall in its value today, and this is why. One Bitcoin is currently worth around £315, well down on its peak of almost £700 in December. You buy bitcoins through an online exchange, and one of the biggest, MT.GOX, unexpectedly shut down today, owing hundreds of millions of pounds and prompting the sharp fall in the value of the currency.
Okay. Before we continue, I just want to point out, do you know who vouched for MT.GOX? And do you know who vouched for their quote-unquote Bitcoin reserves? Roger Ver. He went to the office. He checked it out. They were all good.
Our business editor, Robert Peston, explains.
In the world of the internet, the virtual world, there's a currency that doesn't belong to any nation called Bitcoin. And like all currencies, it can be exchanged into other more conventional currencies like dollars or pounds. Except that one of the biggest Bitcoin exchange houses, called MT.GOX, has gone offline and seems to have vanished.
Roger, you vouched for them. This is the duck meme, right? This is the duck meme chasing the guy. Where's my money? Oh, gosh, it's freaking beautiful. What's going on? Did I go to the office? What's going on here? What happened? What happened? Go to the office, Willie? What office? There's no hostage video. Ah, you're terrible.
Apparently losing its customers hundreds of millions of dollars.
I had 311 bitcoins in there, which at the time of before this started was worth around $300,000. So it looks like that's disappeared.
MT.GOX, based in Tokyo, did 80% of Bitcoin trading in the early days, but has been in difficulty for some time. And do you think there's been fraud here?
I think there's a pretty strong likelihood of that. I think a lot of us have suspected that for quite some time. The fact that they're not talking very openly about what's going on, they deleted all the tweets from their Twitter account yesterday.
Jane Street also deleted their tweets, but the difference is that Jane Street doesn't give a shit. I don't even know why they deleted their tweets. It makes no sense. Yeah, exactly, Mr. Dinkles. That was Mark Karpalis. I totally forgot his name. It's so much harder to remember than Roger Ver.
Something is suspicious and doesn't smell right here.
Other Bitcoin exchanges insisted MT.GOX's woes are an exception and that they're robust.
Okay, so I just want to point out, though, right? I just want to point out that what we saw with Jane Street, the anniversary of MT.GOX, all of these shenanigans, I know this sounds crazy, but you can insulate yourself from all of these shenanigans by taking self-custody, right? Taking self-custody, generating your own entropy, right? You could do it with dice rolls. There's even a nice little interface in the, in the cold card, or you can use if you don't want to use a manufactured device that comes from a single company, you can use a device like a seed signer. But my point is that the most boring messaging from Bitcoin proponents has been take self-custody of your Bitcoin. And that is actually one of the few Bitcoin messages that has been correct the entire time. You wouldn't have been, right? If you had custody of your Bitcoin back in the MT.GOX days, MT.GOX would have happened. Your life would have gone on. That guy and his 111 Bitcoin, life would have gone on, right? Would have been just fine. Any of these situations, the Jane Street stuff, right? Well, look at what's happening there. If people took self-custody, then there's maybe even a really good argument that these institutions wouldn't have been able to get their hands on so many Bitcoin. Maybe they wouldn't have been able to play these games as effectively, right? You can make that argument. Self-custody, guys, it's boring, but you don't get wrecked. Or let me rephrase that. The likelihood of you getting wrecked is significantly reduced because, of course, there's always a non-zero chance, right? Like that's just always how it works, right? You can wreck yourself. Specifically with self-custody, I would have to say that 99.9% of people are people who just simply wreck themselves in that particular case. But in this case, when it comes to the exchanges and it comes to the third party, the trusted third parties, they are wrecking you. Of course, you can also say, well, personal responsibility. You are the one that chose to put your stuff on the exchange. Yes, you're the one that decided to trust the trust me, bro. But at the end of the day, it is still the exchange that chose to do the nefarious act. Anyways, nefarious acts. Guys, these guys did not perform any nefarious acts. They actually, all they did was write code. Privacy preserving code. That's all. And they're both in jail. Please consider signing the petition. and or donating to them. I know I do this every single day. I apologize that it might be repetitive, but the reality is that these guys do not deserve to be in jail, right? Their wives, their families, they deserve to have their time with them. Time is our scarcest asset. All of these other things do not matter, and the state is stealing their time. Okay? You wouldn't want your time stolen. I don't want my time stolen. So think about that. I'm not sending you my sats. I'm still looking for a producer for this show. Where's my producer? Maybe Christine Lagarde Fields could be my producer. Anyways. Yeah, it was a hostage video, right? That we're just confirming the sats were there. Mark's like, you're going to tell them the sats are here, all right? That's exactly what happened. All right, guys. Anyways, look, that is going to do it for this episode today. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. Don't focus too much on the noise. I'm going to do my best not to focus too much on the noise. Tomorrow, I'm not doing the news. Oh, what does producer do? Oh no, I was totally kidding. It's an inside joke with Christine Lagarde Fields. I don't know what a producer does. Get the links. I don't know. I have no idea. But yeah. Anyways, tomorrow not going to be doing the news. Tomorrow going to be having Seed, right? Return guest, friend to the show, Seed from the Seed Signer Project. He is going to be sitting down with me. We're going to be talking about what is new. What is going on with the Seed Signer project, and you know what? Maybe also we're going to talk about some of the drama in the space, right? Maybe we're gonna reflect on 2025 again. Now that we have this new information about how the ETFs are part of the nut kicking mechanism in Bitcoin. Anyways, all right, Turbo, we're gonna settle down. Anyways, guys, have a great rest of the day. I will catch you tomorrow. Take it easy.